leave me. Continue to play the game here.
Venom knew there was just way too much pressure coming from the other side of that wall. A fully intact duo, and that duo being Queasy and Thomas HD. There's just no realistic opportunity for Clix to bring that one back. But Queasy, he's actually looking a little hurt here. He might have been desperate at that point, and Clix finds himself in a similar situation. Only has small shield potions to rely on, 2 below. When it comes to the damage threshold, he's got to make a move, and he's got to do it now. But I don't think anybody's giving him an opening.
Well, he's still inside the top 20 now. The more teams that fall, this would be excellent for Clix here. He just has to hold on a little bit longer, and he is doing just that. A little bit of a zone pull towards his side, more or less. But High Ground has Cammy and Seti looking from up above, and it has never looked better for this duo.
Kadu and Cien having already been eliminated. And again, reconvening with Clix's
oh my god
POV, but Clix is just crazy with the movement. The fact that he managed to escape.
Still alive.
Still
he's clutching. Almost a top 15 now, and he's inside the top 15. Could he make a top 10? It's so close, and down he goes to the hands of Peterbot. He takes him down. Peterbot is also a solo.
It could have been anybody in this circumstance, but of course it had to be Peterbot. But take a look at the high ground, Chapentini. And they're looking for even more still. 5 eliminations already built up here, Monster. And they've got a really strong grasp on this high ground.
What an incredible view for Chapentini. This is coming off the mountain here. Seti seems to have lost his teammate now. Has to do this on his own here, but still. Anything can happen, but Mazanepic inside the box, inside the lane. He's throwing armored walls down. That's going to buy him a little bit of time. Excellent plays here from Seti. No time to play with this Storm, though. He just cannot afford it.
Seti's doing everything he can to try and scale his way up this mountain face, but things are just going to get all the more vicious the higher he climbs. The more pressure he might encounter. Muzz is going to find himself into a sticky situation. Peterbot goes huge there, though, off of Seti.
8 eliminations now for Peterbot and Pollo here. Peterbot still going, nearly finding another one there. Just moments away now from a top 5 here. Can he do it as a solo? He's getting spotted out, though. Armor wall comes down. Another weak player in front of him. Oh, he got that. Never count out. It was so close. But now the focus comes into who will win game 1. We have just 4 teams remaining. Make that 5. Acorn and Cole find another.
Duke simply too sabotage, losing his duo Sphinx there to Peterbot, but Acorn and Cole, the fact that they are still intact. 5 armored walls as well to work with here for Acorn. Chapentini, though, they're trying to see if they can look for an opportunity to collapse. Vico, Flixie off in the distance as well. The mid-ground starting to really pile up here.
Well, look at this. High ground starting to run out of material. Vico and Flixie, this is the pick for me. The team that I knew, you leave them uncontested. They're just going to put in dangerous work here on the field, and it is starting to shape up. Acorn and Cold, and a saving grace on the low ground, on the outskirts, putting pressure onto Japan's best. Rise and Yuma, who also has 7 eliminations. Yuma stands up against Acorn, finds a beautiful tag there. Loses his teammate, though, finds another exchange. It's back and forth here. Anything can still happen.
All these teams scurrying in the low ground, though, they're sabotaging each other. Acorn's gonna go down. Yuma's still standing tall, but now Chapentini from the high ground, they're just gonna collapse, and that is just another elimination to add to the count. Vico Flixie versus Chapentini. It's a battle of Europe.
A battle for the ages indeed here. 5 eliminations still for Teeny and Chap. Things are starting to rack up. Teeny, the first to go down. Chap's also weak. They jump in. They close the game. In game number 1, the victory royale will go to Chap and Teeny.
Could it be more deserved the way that they held down that high ground? MDF.
If they want to jump up to top 5, as those teams are still in this game. Meanwhile, Queasy still ramping his way across the high ground, right?
And that's for sure. Queasy, Thomas, they're going to try to hold on to hype for as long as possible. Ideally, the entire game, if possible, like what we saw at Chapentini in the last match. But Acorn, Cold, very efficient. Found a slight dead side rotate despite so much congestion having pulled in the real center of that last zone. But everybody's got to get a move on now. Pollo, Peterbot just doing what they can to stay ahead of the pack. That reveal medallion as well, going to help them pinpoint some of these solos that might be running through these pre-existing builds.
Yeah, those extra layers right there. But look at this, Clix and Vino catching up with a tear there. Peterbot and Pollo find Yuma as well. effectively taking down some of that immediate competition, right? You want to start dropping those players that are up at the top of the standings if you want to jump over them. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be very, very hard to do, but they are doing just that. Meanwhile, the wider shot tells us the whole story. There's an indestructible bridge separating the high ground layers from the lows.
And Pico, Flixie, they didn't manage to find the victory royale the way that they would have hoped in match 1. And now, staring down their own demise here. Flixie gonna get knocked. Vico not gonna have an opportunity either to recover this one. Just too much pre-existing pressure. But Peterbot controls massive here. Acorn's gonna get caught out, and Peterbot gets the shutdown.
Oh, but someone comes from behind, and down goes Peterbot. Just like that, it's Cold to the rescue basically here, making up for lost time there. And at the end of the day, the real winner here is Cold. He gets more placement points. He gets to heal out now and kind of wait this one out. Meanwhile, Clix is still alive here, working his way through the game. Queasy and Thomas make their way up to the Rift Island. They are looking better than ever. There is so much material to farm back up here as well.
It's looking next to impossible for anybody to try and effectively challenge for high MDF, but we see great things happen. Clix, on the other hand, alongside of Benno, they're gonna fall back to back. Trulex and Chicho now seeing if they can try and finagle their way into that top leaderboard placements. Fadil's gonna be the next one they knock. Reason forced to play this one out as a solo.
Game 2 already looking kind of crazy. Reason takes down Mustache there, and he gets to secure the medkit. That's a huge
medallion
pick up right there. The medallion as well to give him that little bit of extra push here. And look at that. Of all the players that came into the game inside the top 5, Chicho and Trulex are one of the only ones standing here now. With 8 eliminations, they have ran their way up the standings and put themselves into this incredible conversation of a team to look out for right now. Rise and Agers, a great performance. Booga and Rapid show up and get put down, and now it's a top 3, but it's just Pars and Baka down here. Queasy and Thomas have all the time in the world.
Queasy and Thomas are sitting like kings right now at height, just watching all this catastrophe unfold underneath. Chicho, Trulex, they know they've got to deal with this team on high ground. All you see is the armored walls stacked in the sky. Trulex gonna opt for the medkit play instead, hope that he can outlast Baka in the process. But again, at the end of the day, he's just staring down Queasy and Thomas on height.
They're starting to look down here. They're starting to put some tags in. They see what's going on. It's just a matter of moments. 8 eliminations for Queasy and Thomas. They look up, who's trying to land on us? And of course, it's the one and only coming out the storm, Baka there, who just went with a desperate play. Meanwhile, Trulex down low. If he starts to focus in here, he falls so fast. And Baka has high ground now. This is a little scary, but the tag is so good for Queasy.
And the incredible part about it still, MDF, Queasy already had the record for most victory royales in FNCS finals, but he extends that from 25 to now 26. They're going to find themselves chopped. Malabuka, Mustache now trying to make their approach towards Queasy and Thomas. Meanwhile, Peterbot, Pollo, they're currently sitting inside of top 3, 3rd place to be specific, and they're going to instantaneously take over the hill. Prime position, also catching shots, tags, connecting onto Queasy. But the hill height is the real W here.
Well, I hate to call it early, but it is not looking good for the lobby if you're rooting against Peterbot and Pollo right now, as they've got themselves the natural elevation, the material count, and the base already set up. Meanwhile, Queasy finds himself in a bad rotate there, taken down. No elims earned this game. No chance that Thomas can survive there if he doesn't fight his way up. He doesn't even have mats here, the shield bubble, the saving grace, but also the flare to the lobby. Hey, I'm over here.
There's only so much that Thomas can do from this current position. And first, he's got to break through Yapko and Swizzy, throws out the shield bubble. It's his last hope at this point, hoping that there isn't a duo underneath him, but unfortunately, he won't even get a chance to reconsider where he wants to go next. Peterbot and Pollo more than content to take the shutdown.
And they're the team up top, looking down on the rest of the lobby here. Other NA players still here, Re and Ritual. But you have EU's Huddy on the front side with Kovacs there. Peterbot looking down, putting tags onto the roofs of these builds. Huddy and Kovacs have 7 eliminations, but very little material now. It's gonna get super scrappy down here. They're in that conversation of top 5 here, though, as they've managed to nearly fight their way into a top position now. But things are slowing down. Everyone really thinking about what the next move's going to be, what's best for their situation here in the tournament. Merstash, Malabuka look up. They say no. Peterbot and Pollo are still there.
Honey and Kovacs, they're actually going to opt to play from inside Storm. Now they're going to make their move, but they're so late on this rotate. Peterbot and Pollo are bound to catch wind of this. Immediately, the shots rain in. Kovacs trying to scurry around, but he won't escape. There's too much pressure. Peterbot too accurate as well. Another duo life getting flamed here in the mix. Merstash, Malabuka now caught wind of Reed. Unfortunately, front side of zone is not going to be controlled by Reed and Ritual much longer. Malabuka Merstash here to play.
Yeah, and they did all that for a top 5, right? Look at how slow things have gone here because everyone wants placement points, but the problem is now you're giving Peterbot and Pollo so much more time to decide about how they basically want to win this game here.
Ritual still trying to work his way through. He's crouching, he's breaking the builds, but Peterbot and Pollo MDF, I hate to call it early, but they are looking primed to take over here in match 3. Unless Merstash and Malabuka have something to say about it. Currently contesting Yapko and Swizzy. This could be a massive refresh for builds.
Swizzy and Yapko, 8 elims. What a monstrous game for them here. Top 3, breaking his way through the builds here. He still has a lot of gas in the tank here to work with, but Malabuka and Merstash put up such a strong defense there. A great tag onto Merstash to go in and set things up, but he steps in now. It's time to throw it all down. It's all or nothing. Right hand peek here for Merstash is going to work well. Peterbot and Pollo jump down from the high ground to go and get in the mix. One of those goes to them. Merstash is down. Malabuka's down. 2v2. All they got to do now is find the last shot, and Pollo, hungrier than ever, is going to get one. They just need the second now.
Peterbot, Pollo, they're tracking him down. Swizzy staring just a layer above. Pollo's gonna fall though. This could be massive. Swizzy could actually take it, but Peterbot trying to shut that tree down. Peterbot, oh my God, is all he needs. He takes it home.
Peterbot and Pollo get taken down to the hands of Swizzy. Phenomenal job there. This is the villain arc for Peterbot right now, unfolding before our eyes here. Continues to swing his way through this crevice here, but no! Doesn't take the first shot as a warning, and that's a huge mistake now. The first mistake we have actually seen from Peterbot right there. He should have known better.
Clicks on the other hand, he's gonna get credit for Gadu. CM might still be kicking somewhere, but at least for right now, Clicks, Benno, they're managing to find the refreshes when they need them most. Flixie and Vika, though, they've taken note of the team across the way from their current position. They're looking to try and get the chop from secondary height. Flixie, in fact, even hoping that he continues to build up. He's trying to cut off Queasy, and he finds him falling straight to the ground.
Queasy jumps up and just gets melted there. That's the problem with the Flowberry Fizz. Unfortunately, now Vico and Flixie have a real opportunity here to take high ground, secure it, solidify their spot straight to the end game. Meanwhile, noticeable names alive. Booga, Aviv, Quanti, and Cone still standing. Ed is in this lobby. Acorn and Cold are still alive.
Wow.
And the save from Thomas HD onto Queasy, though, was definitely not something I saw coming.
Acorn and Cold now, they're gonna opt to layer swap through the low ground, making their way, crossing over all this natural terrain provided by Castle Doom, but again, the high ground, it belongs to Vico and Felixi. They are seeking out full control of this fourth lobby here, and everyone is folding underneath them. Flix down to his final 2 HP. Will he have a moment? Finally gets an opportunity to pop a small shield potion, but again, just scrambling, doing everything in his power to survive. He's got players funneling in ults from every direction, and it's not going to be enough. Clicks has been taken out.
He did find Booga there, though. A big elimination for him. Look at this. Trulex and Chicho once again in the end game. Just going for the heal off, looking for a top 10 solidified spot, but it's not going to be easy. This Castle Doom is very hard to navigate across. Remember, these walls are extremely high HP, but look who's back in action. Thomas HD is almost figuratively and literally putting Queasy on his back this game right now, and Queasy gave him the credit last round, and rightfully so. We're seeing him really work for it. Acorn falls now. Booga, Avi still alive here. We couldn't have found a better time to talk about them. because they've managed to rat their way through the castle here. And now finding Max to stay alive and get back. Meanwhile, Flixi and Vico jumping their way back up into this top 5.
Flexi and Vico from the rooftops now by Castle Doom. Bugha and Aviv functioning out of the attics exclusively, but Thomas has lost Queasy yet again, only this time no opportunity for the revive. In fact, he's down and out for the count as well. Skrull doing everything he can to just try and make it back into zone, but it's all up to Vico and Flixi to hold their ground. They're going to cut Skrull off in the process. Vico nearly gets credit for the knock, but instead we'll have to watch that one slip away.
Vico finds that extra elimination, though. They are slowly cutting down the poles here, getting closer and closer to the roots. Give a look at it. 7 Elans for Flixi and Vico. Bugha and Aviv not looking to jump up into the flames that are Vico and Flixi. Give it a second, though. No match. They have to continue to farm here. And like we talked about, this building, very, very interesting to try to navigate through. Armored wall comes in. At the very least, Bugha's trying to, make this a war of attrition, and they find an elimination. Another big one here. More points here. Vico and Flixi are coming down. They had enough of the weight. They find Aviv on the backside there. Vico losing a lot of HP to the storm, though.
Vico nearly getting trapped in the process there, but unfortunately for Aviv and Bugha, they're going to get caught inside the structures. They're trying to work their way through. Aviv barely has it, but Vico and Flixi, just a little bit more HP to work with. They bring this one home.
And it's almost like they just...
Here on it. Saw Victor V and Paper as well. Could be some big fights taking place soon in the low ground.
Let's not forget Kovacs and Huddy were taken out in the drop last game. They were in 4th coming into that round before slipping down the standings now, showing us just how consistent they really are, coming right back into things. Meanwhile, Queasy pushing their way through. Down goes Cooper, looking for the finish. He'll get it. Kanata forced to run up to another layer here. And they might not be in a spot to win the game just yet, but they are racking up a lot of points now once again, coming into the final rounds here. For day number 1, Chicho and Trulex, another endgame for them as well. Teams just showing their stride. It's very clear who's had good performances here today. Acorn and Cole get chopped out by Flixi and Vico. They are just the talk of the town right now.
Vico, Flixi, Peterbot, Pollo, they just seemingly operate at a different level altogether currently, and everybody else just trying to play catch-up. Chicho, Trulex, they caught wind of Epic Well, but Epic Well doing what he can. It's an even exchange, down to just Trulex versus Muzz. But the question is, will he even manage to find that? Instead, Kovacs gonna opt to play the medkit. It's all down to just placement opportunity at this point.
And then you have Pollo and Peterbot still alive right now, still kicking here. This is the only competition besides Acorn and Cold who can obviously rack up enough points to give everyone a run for their money. Bryce and Bolt are setting up for the high ground win, while Pollo, Peterbot, Vico, Flixi are fighting for eliminations closer to the low ground now. And they might just clash here in the moments to come as they're standing on opposite ends of the low ground position here. Pollo pressuring everyone nearby. Flixi down, Vico down as well. To the hands of the teams on the other side as well. And look at this, the low ground spot for Peterbot and Pollo, just so content, but now they're looking for high ground.
But the real winners of that exchange, Queasy, Thomas, Vico, Flixi, they all eliminate each other, so now it's just up to Pollo and Peterbot to see what they can do. Bolt and Bryce, though, firm grasp of the high ground, doing what they can to just try and shred through the players underneath. Dukes scrambling, barely managing to throw up some wood above his head, keep him safe for the time being. But at the same time, Peterbot and Pollo, they are titans on this low ground currently.
So Peterbot has to get an elimination here and then go for high ground if he wants to do something, but these teams are not making it easy. Meanwhile, Watts and Pings are getting active for the low ground, though the shots are coming in. Peterbot and Pollo find the first few, and there's still points to be earned here, and Pollo wants them all. It's gonna make a huge, huge difference here. Secures the material count as well. That's gonna set Peterbot up for just enough. Bolt and Bryce have been here before. Bryce specifically has won games in person on land. I called it before. This is the team that you have to look out for. They are so talented. However, Peterbot and Pollo just, I mean, they've been ahead of the pack so far.
But Peterbot and Pollo, they got the most recent refreshes. Granted, everyone's building, everyone's burning through it, but Pollo strikes first. Price is gonna fall. Peterbot understanding it's all down to Bolts to try and clutch this one up, but it's Peterbot and Pollo after all.
Bolts has been here though, he knows what to do. Don't give him a chance to heal, you have to fight back. Armored walls come out, they have a little bit more match, but Peterbot has too much to work with. Another armored wall, Bolts has an angle. Can he get it? No! Peterbot won't drop it twice.
Peterbot and Pollo strike yet again on the day. Match them every direction, every second. It's so difficult to maintain this level of composure, but even as a solo, Thomas HD might be able to make some magic happen.
Up above though, the scanner is still coming out for Peterbot and Pollo. They have all the information in the world, top 15 now. 28 below, down body there. Those could be matched, but no, he needs more than that. He needs to drop teams for placement at the very least, if nothing else.
Wow.
Honey falls there. That'll be full credits, I think, for him, but even if it's matched there, some builds too. Gets up on the second layer, shots come in from everywhere, gets a couple more placement points, and it's something. But now look at this, Kanata, Cooper in the end game, Trulex and Chicho once again here, alive and healthy.
Even more importantly still, they're applying a little bit of pressure here onto Pollo and Peterbot. They are actually forced to just try and punch their way through the mid-ground. You can tell Pollo, Peterbot, they want to maybe take a jab at the height, but Azers and Rise currently in full control and continuing to ramp upwards. A couple of armored walls expended as well, just to ensure that it's not going to be easy for them to get chopped anytime soon. They've also got the Flowberry Fizz as that emergency exit plan, but Pollo, Peterbot across the way, spotting out Kanata and Cooper. The reveal medallion just doing so much as far as helping them to establish exactly which teams, which players they want to aggress.
They're strategically choosing who to target, given that they have all the information that they need. Meanwhile, Geras and Shari are saying, oh, we have a chance to win if we can get out high ground. And they look up. Peterbot spots out Kanata inside the zone, gets a little bit of damage, figures the zone will do the rest. Now focus comes in on the low ground, and it's so smart for them to be down here. They're just earning so many points now that they are jumping towards the 400-point threshold here.
Just in the eliminations alone, they've got 7 between the two of them. Geras as a solo, bound to be marked any second here if he hasn't been already. Pollo, not even gonna bother, instantly goes with the left side edit peak, gets all the credit onto that Geras elimination, and now just a raw 2 versus 2 up against the likes of Azers and Rise.
Peterbot and Pollo went from second to first, and now, at minimal, a second place. But Pollo is always the first to kick off the fight, and he does it in spectacular fashion. Now Peterbot steps up to the plate. Azers is hurt. One edit, it's all it's going to take here to put him down, but Armor Wall comes through to get his teammate the full reset here. He says, hey, let's not rush it. And then they jump down, focusing up to high ground here shortly. Give it a moment now. Peterbot and Pollo side by side here. Rise and Azers starting to fill it off. Pressure coming in from the low ground. They're running out of materials. Armor walls are done. They're depleted.
Still decent amount of space for Peterbot and Pollo to work with. Keep in mind, Pollo also still has those 4 armored walls, but as far as the health bar is concerned, Peterbot, Pollo, they are fully in the driver's seat. But that doesn't mean that Rise and Azers couldn't turn this one in their favor. They also need a massive game here to finish strong on the leaderboard. Definitely,
this is going to be a significant moment now. How do you close out day number 1? Second and first, very impactful differences here. Peterbot and Pollo start to swing their way up. They get the angle that they're looking for. Pollo, once again, doesn't quite find it. Peterbot's hurt, though. It's a low ground attack. Pollo by himself here, but the trade from Peterbot up top, he has done what he needed to, and Pollo takes down Azers and clutches out the win from the low ground with back-to-back ducks.
Pollo said it himself, I don't need to worry when I've got Peterbot next to me, and Peterbot could say the same fashion. As long as he's got his duo Pollo, these two can always try try to reestablish control, and they took this last game by.
We start to wrap up the day.
We have to talk about other duos.
I know, we have to talk about other duos.
Yeah.
Just pretend Peterbot and Pollo don't exist for a moment there. Thomas, HD, and Queasy currently sitting at 295 points as well.
30.